Okay, Toronto coming down in 30 seconds. Well, make that 20 seconds. 20 seconds now. Five seconds.
Racing weekly news for you. Racetime Radio, Canada's national short track show. Racetime Radio, the drop the green flag. Here is your host, Joe.
And good evening, everyone, and welcome to Racetime Radio. Yes, indeed, here we go. We got 2 hours of action-packed lined up for you here tonight. I'm Joe Chisholm, along with Joe Chisholm Jr. right here in the Racetime Radio studio. So glad you could tune in tonight. Of course, all live on SiriusXM, Channel 167 Canada Talks. We're also live on our live stream and our brand new Racetime Radio TV on YouTube. So we're going to give that a test roll tonight, and we are live on that. Let me tell you who we got coming on the show tonight. We're going to start everything out on the East Coast of Canada. Of course, the East Coast International Pro Stock Tour went green yesterday at Pinty International Raceway. The 99 Craig Slaunwhite, a familiar face to Victory Lane, got back into Victory Lane just yesterday, and Craig is going to join us on the show. Off into the province of Quebec next, it was ICAR. And the final race of 2022 in the NASCAR Pinty Series when it comes time for the province of Quebec. And true to form, a Quebec native goes to Victory Lane. It was Kevin Lacroix in the 74 Napa Chevrolet, I do believe. Not a Chevrolet?
She's a Dodge.
Oh, it's a Dodge. I stand corrected. Kevin Lacroix going to join the show. I know that for sure. The APC Series went back under the green flag just yesterday. And the number 31 of Rick Spencer Walt got the job done. Bad leg and all. He went to Victory Lane, and he's going to join us tonight on the show. We're going to catch up tonight with John Casale, the promoter, owner of Flamboro Speedway. Of course, we've got the big Pot of Gold race coming at us next weekend. Don't know what that is? Well, you're going to find out about it tonight. Let me tell you, it is a $50,000 to win race. You got that right. $50,000 to win. And it is going to happen at Flamboro Speedway next Sunday. But John Casale, the owner-promoter of Flamboro Speedway, going to join Junior and I here tonight on the show. We'll get you all the details of what you're going to need to know about next weekend at Flamboro Speedway. We were hoping to catch Dario Capirchio. Dario, driver the 03 super late model, went to Victory Lane and he won himself $10,000 last night up at Laird Speedway in Sault Ste. Marie. The other day, George Wilson got a hold of me and he said, "Hey, do you know about this big 10K to win race at Laird?" And honestly, I didn't. So he let me know all about it. And sure enough, we followed along. Dario Capirchio goes to Victory Lane and wins himself $10,000. We're hoping to catch up with Dario. I haven't got a number for him yet. He didn't get back to me today. So he could be partying it up in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario still. But we look forward to potentially catching up with Dario here tonight on the show. We will, however, catch up with Sam Fellows at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Of course, huge weekend coming up this coming Labor Day weekend at CTMP. You don't want to miss it. It is going to be a full action-packed weekend. We'll get you all the details you need to know at CTMP with Sam Fellows. We'll also touch on his day at Three Rivers, but ICAR just yesterday in the NASCAR Pinty Series. We've got that to talk about. And in hour number 2, in the final segment, we are going to catch up with Daryl Crocker, provided I get his number. Daryl Crocker, Western Speedway, out in British Columbia. the the Canada 200 is coming up next weekend. It is all going to be live on Rev TV Canada right across the country. But if you're in the province of BC, you want to check that race out live for yourself. History to be made at Western Speedway. It is the final event at that speedway before they fold it up. Yeah, that racetrack, the site is going to be done. I know Daryl and the whole group there is actively looking for a new home for the speedway out there. And I don't think they've got anything where they're going to be able to tell us, yeah, we do have this site. I'm hoping they do, but from what I can hear, doesn't sound like that's just the case yet. They do have some potentials. Hopefully we can catch up with Daryl a little bit later in the show and get you all the details you're going to need to know about the Canada 200 coming up next weekend. So lots of huge races coming at us next weekend. But what do you say we get to the hotline and welcome in a guy that made a pile of news this past weekend? Of course, I'm talking about the 99 of Craig Slaunwhite. He goes to Victory Lane at Pinty International Raceway. He joins us now on the hotline. What's going on there, Winner? How are you?
Hey, good, bud. How are you doing?
Fantastic. Back into Victory Lane at a racetrack. I know you just absolutely love flying around. A good job yesterday, brother.
Thank you much, Lee. Yeah, everything worked out in our favor yesterday from the minute we got there until the minute we left, I guess. So it was a good day.
Well, watching it on Tim's Corner.tv, Tim and Dylan did a great job with the broadcast. Watching that one, honestly, in the kind of, I don't know, somewhere around lap 100 or so, Craig, I'm kind of wondering, where the hell is the 99? I kind of figured he'd be up here by now, and didn't see any sight of you. And then all of a sudden, presto, within a few laps, there he is. He's in frame now. And before too long, you got the lead to that one and never looked back. You started running away near the end of that. You had a good 99.
Yes, I did. Yeah, no, we were good right out of the trailer. Matt made some adjustments probably before the heat race that really brought it in nice, and tweaked on it a little bit right after that, and it was pretty flawless, really. It was a lot of fun to drive.
Craig, has it been frustrating at all the last few races? I know early in the season we had you on lots. You won a bunch of races. And then all of a sudden things sort of went kind of quiet with you. You were still there, of course. You were still up there. But nevertheless, you did end up with some trouble and you weren't back in Victory Lane. Did you have a little bit of a lull, and does it feel good to get back in stride, I bet?
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's kind of a weird deal because I go 5 years without winning, and you think life is over, and then you go on a tear. Like all last year, we were on a tear. The first part of this year, we were on a tear, and then all of a sudden, we get 3 wins at the first of the year, a second. We go to the 250 at Riverside, and honestly figured the chances were 99.9% that we were going to be really fast. And right from the minute we got there on Thursday night, we just didn't have the speed. The car felt great. Went into Saturday, actually no, we knew we didn't have a ton of speed on the Thursday night. Just had people coming up, motor sounds flat, and I was kind of half just trying to talk myself out of it being a motor. And then Friday, we decided to go to Halifax to change. Figured we had maybe an MSD box bad on us, so left Antigonish, drove to Halifax to test. Went out, figured that we were okay. I mean, had an Antigonish set up on it, and the car felt good. It was getting to the chip, and like, well, all right, well, must have been the MSD box. So we go back to Riverside. We unload Saturday morning and go out, and again, car felt great. It was numb. Just didn't have any speed, and like, well, it must be the motor. So Corey Hall let us go to King, pull the motor out of his car. 3 of the guys stayed back and pulled the motor out of my car at the track. 3 of us went to King, pulled the motor out of his, went back down, switched it over, started last in the field, didn't heat race it at all, started last on the field, and it felt good at the first, and then 20, 30 laps, it was just numb again. So literally ran around at the back of the pack, down laps for the whole night. It was such a frustrating day for all of us, but the guys just kept slugging. Like, we changed MSD boxes again, we changed the carburetor, we changed the coil, pumped all the fuel out of it, like just threw everything at it, kind of going, let's use this to try and find the problem. And anyway, it wasn't until after the 250 we went back down that week with my motor back in it and figured out that it was vapor locking, wasn't getting enough fuel, fixed the problem, and gained a half a second down there on the Wednesday night after the 250. So it was basically, it was one of them things, right, that you chase your tail, you think it's the biggest thing, and it was probably one of the smallest things, and it kind of threw our whole weekend away. Obviously, you're down on yourself, you lose points and all this kind of stuff, everything's playing in your head, and luck's changing, and then we go to PEI, and what happened there? I guess I started 11th or 12th, whatever it is, drove to the lead, kind of played the rain game a little bit. I pushed a little bit too hard, I think, in the middle part of the race to get to the front, and then Corey was on me. I don't know, he was much better, but he was there, and I thought, well, I'm going to let him go and follow him, and hopefully he burns his stuff up a little bit, and I'll get him on the next restart kind of thing. And then there wasn't a next restart. We went green for 100 laps or something. So finished second there, which was good. Then going into the Halifax 250, thought, okay, well, our chances are the same as Riverside. We should be in the hunt for the win if something doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. And then, we start the day off. We're fast, win the heat race with ease, and then started the feature. I bided my time, got to second by, I don't even know what lap it was, close to halfway. Then took the lead on a restart, and I was leading, and it was losing power, and thought, okay, here we go again, right? Mm-hmm. The alternator started laying down on us and killing the battery. So the guys got a battery out of Whalen's car and strapped in it and going down laps, and then again just ran around trying to stay out of everybody's way because I was down laps. So you get the two biggest races of the year that you like, they're the ones you want, right?
Oh yeah. But on the positive side, Craig, it was the easiest $1,000 you ever made by leading halfway in that baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you go over and kiss Cole on the forehead and say thanks for the grand, brother?
Yeah. No, I'm not much into kissing Cole, but
yeah, I guess not. Even for a grand, eh?
Yeah, no, not even for a grand, no. But yeah, and then ended up finishing laps down there and kind of hung our heads and went, well, maybe the luck is kind of gone because we're on a 1.5-year tear. And anyways, Andrew and Corey and Jonathan, them guys just put their head back in it down at King and literally just went through it. And this weekend was pretty flawless. We were good right out of the trailer. Made a couple adjustments that Matt's been wanting to try, and some suggestions from Andrew and the boys, and just it was a fun day.
Craig, when you talk about the day where you guys split the team and half of you run down and pull a motor out of one car and half of you are pulling the motor out of the other car, it's pretty humbling for a small team, short track team, to do that in a day at the racetrack. When you see them on TV, they make it look pretty easy in the Cup garage, don't they? Pulling a motor and swapping it out in a half hour. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work in a late model now, to get these things pulled out and swapped out. It seems like every car is different too, right? It's different size lines and different lengths and different things like that. There's a lot of nuances to getting a motor swapped out today.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's listen. At the end of the day, I'll say it now. I've said it for years. I'll continue to say it. The guys that I got, we all know how to do everything on the race car.
Yep.
And I'd put my guys up against any team, anywhere. I would enter them in a competition to say, you know, whatever it is, swap a motor, pull trannies, change rear end, hell, put a body on it. You know what I mean? Like, put them up against anybody. And listen, if it wasn't for them and the not give up mentality, we wouldn't be sitting where we're sitting points wise, because they never stopped in Antigonish. They never stopped at Halifax, swapping stuff out, getting shocks, burning arms, just continuous hope. Let's get this thing fixed. Let's just keep making laps, right? And and at the end of the day, yeah, Riverside. 3 of my guys stayed, pulled the motor. 3 of us went, pulled another motor, and I don't know. I mean, all in total, probably only took less than an hour, other than the drive to King, to do it all. But yeah, I'd seriously put them up against anybody. I really would.
Yeah, pretty wild. So you got 2 left to do, brother. You got Riverside, and then you get back to Halifax. What's the point lead sitting at now?
66 after last night.
Ooh, so that is still kind of healthy, but you can't miss nothing here, right?
Oh no, man, she's not over until the checker flag flies. Especially next weekend. Next weekend's the get through next weekend and have a sizable lead and kind of put the mind at ease or whatever. But again, anything can happen. No different than 250s.
Right.
Stuff you can't even predict, right?
Exactly.
So
you just got to be
anything
prepared.
Can happen.
Yeah,
we do.
You got another 250 coming up at Speedway 660. You gonna go jump into that baby too?
No. That we won't go there, but no, we're not going to 660. No.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I just wondered if you
I got
were
a little
gonna.
bit screwed over there last year, so.
Oh, come
it's
to think of
sour.
it. Yeah. I remember what you're saying here. But hey, good for you, Craig Slaunwhite. You made it back into victory lane. You looked like you didn't skip a beat, brother, and you got 2 more big races to go, and I know everybody's going to be following you, and I know there's going to be a bunch cheering for you, and I know there's going to be a bunch going, how does somebody get him?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You got to have those in racing, or there wouldn't be fans in the stands, right? So.
You betcha. What do you got for sponsorship on that? I know I seen Presidential on the side, but I know it takes a whole army of them.
Oh God, yes. Again, my sponsors are buddies, and if it wasn't for all of them pulling together, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing, right? So, Presidential Ventilation, RJ Motorsports, Stones RV, King Competition, B&L Fulmore, Nails by Sydney, KC Marine Mechanical Installation, Selrick Enterprises, Rick Balcher Weldon, Xander Sign Group. There's some people behind the scenes that spend a little bit of money and time. And again, the sponsors are one thing, but the crew is another, right?
Absolutely.
Shane, Nick, Roderick, Curtis, Matt, man, like Andrew, Jonathan, Corey. I'm humbled. Like these guys are. I put them up against anybody.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it, Craig. You guys have had good success and much continued success from here out, brother. I know we got a seat saved right here for the next 2 winners and, of course, the champion. And you are the defending champion of the East Coast International Pro Stock Tour. Good luck to you, 99. Keep her up.
Thanks, guys. Hopefully talk to you soon. Appreciate it.
You betcha. That's Craig Slaunwhite, driver of that 99. Man, is he one quick rocket out there. But there is a whole pile of fast rockets that are dialing it in and getting closer to him. Got to put a nod to the 8 car, 08 of Nicholas Nago was real quick there on the weekend. There were so many good cars. And, you know, there's going to be a whole raft of them with these last 2 shows of the season. We're going to hit a quick break. When we come back. NASCAR Pinty Series ran our ICAR this weekend. We got the winner. He was in the Napa Dodge. His name is Kevin Lacroix, driver of the 74. Going to be on the hotline next. Stay with us.
Come on, wake up, honey. I got a little money coming my way. We gotta get out of here. Can you find me some cigarettes, little whiskey and beer?
From coast to coast, you're listening to Canada Talks.
Celebrate the end of summer at the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park Labor Day Sprints Weekend, featuring Canada's best cars and drivers as the NASCAR Pinty Series competes in the WeatherTech 200. Experience an all-Canadian roster of racing action, including the Fell Sports Car Championship, Nissan Sentra Cup, Toyo Tires F1600, and M-Zone Radical Cup. Enjoy concerts, fireworks, food, and family fun. Come for the day or camp for the weekend. Go to CanadianTireMotorsportPark.com for tickets and details.
No one else. Only you. Mr. Never Say Die. Your 8-year-old car running like new? That's all you. And your friend, Mr. Transmission. Transmissions. That's their specialty. Over 350 different types, making Mr. Transmission Canada's undisputed transmission and technology expert. Book your free multi-check inspection at your local Mr. Transmission to keep it running smoothly. How long will your car last? As long as you want it to. Thanks to your friend.
Hey, mister, you're a friend of mine.
Even though Napa is a nationally known name, nearly all of our stores are built from the ground up by local owners and families. People you might call neighbors will be here, there, and everywhere. Doing what neighbors do to keep their communities moving forward. You stop by a Napa Auto Parts store, you can count on Napa know-how.
Tonight's Race Time Radio is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts Stores, New Glasgow, Antigonish, and Port Hawkesbury, Nova Scotia. You can count on Napa know-how.
AP Race Fuels, the worldwide leader in race fuel technology. Epic Racewear. Look, feel, be epic at epicracewear.ca.
Now, a flashback in Canadian music history. Here's Eric Alper.
Rush holds a special place in our hearts and in the record books. They've sold more than 40 million copies around the world. They have a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame, inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and Officers of the Order of Canada. And they've released 24 gold records and 14 platinum albums, placing them 5th for the most consecutive gold or platinum studio albums by any rock band.
From the high banks of Daytona, we cover it all. Ooh, that's going to leave a mark. And now, back to the Joes.
Hey, shake and bake, Cal! Woo! Shake and bake!
Here on Race Time Radio.
And welcome back, everybody, to Race Time Radio. Live tonight on SiriusXM Channel 167 Canada Talks. Check out our new YouTube page as well, Race Time Radio TV. Give it a try. We're working away at it. I do believe the audio sounds good. Everything is working. At least it was the last time we looked. Let's go off now back to the hotline, shall we? And bring in, how about our Canadian National winner next? This driver went to ICAR, and he took his Napa Dodge number 74 straight into victory lane. Don't believe anyone led any other laps other than the 74 Kevin Lacroix. Did anybody lead a lap, Joe?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought it was all Kevin Lacroix.
It was all Kevin Lacroix. He did have a heck of a race car, but it was definitely a wild show. It was definitely a dominant performance, Mr. Lacroix. Great job.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's nice to have a first win for the blue car Napa, new colors. So I'm very happy about it.
Oh, they would have been extremely happy. You were fast right off the back of the truck this time, weren't you?
Yeah, the car was really, really good. We went to test the car a couple of times there this season, and we did the fastest time in practice. We were just a little bit disappointed that the qualifying session was canceled due to rain, but so we started by points, so that's the reason why I started the 5th. So, it led the chance to other drivers to beat some laps for a little bit.
Yeah, the 96, I guess, led for a little bit. In my mind, all I seen was the 74 out front continuously. And you were, you said, about a 10, 15 car length lead. And you seemed to, I don't know whether you were driving in the mirror, whether your spotter was saying, okay, right about there, Kev, just hang in there. You weren't burning it up. You weren't tearing it up. You were just running consistent laps. And then I want to say with about 16 laps to go, the caution flag flew. I don't know whether it was Sammy Fellows broke his drive shaft. I don't know what the caution was for. Was it? And then on the restart, though, I'm watching, and all of a sudden the 27 was like he was shot out of a cannon, blew right on by you, blew by everybody, got the lead, but that was extremely short-lived. The 74 car, you went elbows up and said, Ranger, not this time, buddy boy. And away you went. The 74 car just blew right by everybody again and got the lead. You had a good, strong car is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, well, at the restart there, Andrew kind of surprised me. In a way, I was so confident. I was just taking it easy, and I think I underestimated some drivers there. But because we were just cruising around all the race long with the 10 car lanes advantage, and then the restart came, and I thought it was too tight to attempt something crazy, and. But Andrew did. He dive bombed in the corner, and that was a nice move from him. And it's good for the show at the same time. But there was no, I was not stressed or there was no pressure. I think the car was just so good that it didn't take even like four corners to take back the lead and just drive away. So the car was just really, it's with all the races I've done, it's first time in my career that we have such a strong car. A strong advantage over the other drivers, and it was just nice to bounce back from the two tough races in the past two races.
Well, surprise you say. Hey, how about me? I'm sitting in my chair at home, and it surprised me what Ranger did. It was just an incredible move. Didn't hit anybody, but I thought, wow, look at the speed he's got. But it was either really, really short run speed or not long-lived, Junior. You guys were fast, but only for about 150 feet, and then it sort of leveled out.
Yeah, that's about what it was. It was definitely you can't even call it short run speed. It was short four-corner speed. But no, it was definitely a lot of fun to watch. It was I was standing right beside your spotter, and he looked over at me like, "Wow, what do you?" But it was pretty funny. It was. Kevin, I've got to point something out here a little bit. You have, kind of changed the way that everybody, attacks road course racing, and they've covered it off in the broadcast, quite a few times. And there used to be a time where the NASCAR Canadian Tire Series guys, would ride around for the first 2/3 of the race. At a really slow pace, and then push it at the end because they didn't think that they would have enough car. You and Ranger, and I would include Tagliani and Dumoulin and Camirand in this same category. But really, when you came in is when everything kind of changed. You were able to push the car to the bare limit from the lap 1 to the checkered flag, and you kind of elevated the series to that point. And yesterday, for the first time in the history of watching Kevin Lacroix, you started to back off the corner. You started to back up, where your lift point was from your good laps. When I watched Kevin Lacroix for the longest time, if you lifted at 150, you lifted at 150 every lap. Or if you lifted at 200, you lifted at 200 every lap. Yesterday, if a fast time, you lifted at 150, once you got that 10, 15 car length advantage, you started lifting, 100 feet or 200 feet before that, and really saving your stuff. You could hear it. You could see it. Did you change your driving style a little bit over the past couple of weeks or this season? Or was it just you had such a good car that you were able to do that?
Well, yeah, it all depends on the feeling. I don't really focus on trying to save the stuff or anything like this. I think it's it's the same thing when I'm not leading. Sometimes I've won races that I got the lead late in the race because when people are all going crazy and pushing to the limit, I always try to focus on what's the limit of the car and just let the luck happen and get to me or something. Let the car come to me and let the other drivers overdrive their car and let their car go. So when people are going all crazy, I think I just focus on myself, focus on my car, and find his limit. Mm-hmm. And that's what I did yesterday. I think the car was really, really good, but I was just I thought I came back at the shop today, and the first thing I did is to tell the crew chief that I wanted a change for next year and take notes so we don't forget it. It was a little bit tight, and when you push to get the lead, and you want to push to get at least 3-4 car lengths advantage so you don't get bumped or something. So, and then you kind of feel that the car is a little bit tight, and you don't want to overdrive it so it gets tighter. So that's what I was trying to do. But if the car is just perfect, then you can keep running the same speed. But yesterday was, the car was good compared to other drivers, other cars, but it was just a little bit tight, so I had to manage it. But it looked easy for sure, and we were kind of surprised ourselves.
Absolutely.
Well, you did dynamite. In the history of ICAR, with Pinty's at it, there's only ever been 2 feature winners. According to what Adam said yesterday on the broadcast, either yourself in the 74, Kevin Lacroix, or the 27 of Andrew Ranger. I'm not sure what the split is, but are you ahead on the split, or are you guys even, or whereabouts are you at?
Yeah, well, it's... And over the years, I'm kind of surprised because there's when you're leading and you're overtaking people, you don't want them to see what you're doing different, so they don't learn how to go as fast as you. But I'm kind of surprised that Andrew and we kind of have a different driving style normally, but at this track it resembles a lot, and I think that's what makes us a little bit faster than everybody else. And I'm kind of surprised when I see other drivers doing other things, and over the years, they don't learn about. But yeah, I think that's a flat racetrack like this. It's very different than Motorsport or other place we go. So I think our go-kart career is helping us a lot there.
Absolutely. Kevin, ICAR, they've changed the format. They went from the large track to the small track. The small track, of course, has stuck around now for a little bit, and I think is set to stick around. It's a very small course for anybody listening. Seven turns, relatively short straightaways all the way around. But the last time we went there, 1 and 2 were significantly different. There was a definite difference in both the shape of turn 1 and then as well the way that you enter turn number 2. It went from being kind of a kink where you would have to woe the car up to more of a high-speed right-hander. Did you notice the difference in a big way with your driving style, or was it something that was relatively easy to overcome?
Well, yeah, it took a few laps, even when I went there testing a few times. It took to get used to it because the corner has become very, very long, and you got to be very, very patient and not hitting the throttle too early, because if you get on throttle too early, then you're just using your front tires. So, and that's, I think, with these cars, it's the main challenge. The front tires, and you get tight. With my car, I get tight on the road course almost every end of the races. So I always try to manage my front tires, and that corner was I had to hold myself, So I guess it's the same thing for every driver. But we're all racers, competitors. We're all we're all looking forward to go faster, and you have to hold yourself in time.
We're with Kevin Lacroix. He won yesterday's NASCAR Pinty's race at ICAR. He drives the number 74 Napa Dodge. Kevin, we got to take a look, man. You don't get time not a long time to celebrate the win because you're right back on the speedway again this coming weekend. It's a huge weekend at CTMP, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. You guys are going to be headlining it this weekend. What's the thoughts heading back to CTMP? And refresh my memory, was that the site of race win number 1 for you this year? Or what? I know you've won a couple of this year. Was it CTMP? I can't remember.
Yeah, that was the CTMP, my first win of the year, and the first road course of the year. And it was I led a bunch of laps with a big advantage, and then the yellow came out at the end. And got surprised by another driver, Gary Clute, and he had to use the bumper at the end. So I'll try to make it cleaner and having an easier race, just like we did in ICAR. Don't use the bumper and just have the cruise. But it will be very important for us to win. Again, it's a track that we're very fast. We're a little bit far behind in points for the championship chase, so we absolutely need to win. And we never wish bad luck to any drivers, but I think we'll need it. So, yeah.
You gotta do what you gotta do, brother. You guys are spending a lot of time and a lot of money to get out there and win races, and everyone's depending on you to get results. So, much understood. You gotta drive the way guys drive you. You gotta drive them the same sort of way, but in the same respect. How many times have we seen it at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, whether it be NASCAR Camping World Trucks, whether it be Pinty's? How many times have we seen it coming through that final kink back to the start-finish line? That action happens right there. It happens. It's just part of the fabric of that race, and we'll probably see it again this weekend. But good luck in the race. It's going to be dynamite, and congratulations on the big victory. Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job.
All right, thank you very much, guys.
Hey, this is from me, though. You don't need to keep doing that. Just back it down a little bit, all right?
Just let the 27 go by.
No. He says no.
Kevin, dynamite stuff. You and Donnie Thompson just keep doing what you're doing. You got the right recipe for success, I'll tell you.
Yeah, cool. Hopefully the luck will be on our side, but in the future. But yeah, we're a strong team, and we just need a little less mechanical failure.
Yep, that is Kevin Lacroix, driver of the Napa Dodge, the number 74. Watch for him to be incredibly strong. Junior, that's a good track for CTMP. It's a good track for Andrew. It's a good track for DJ Kellington. Is a good track for Kevin Lacroix. Is a good track for Gary Clute.
I wouldn't put DJ. Do
you want me to keep going?
I wouldn't put DJ Kellington in that list. I would say that DJ wouldn't put himself in that list.
Watch out.
That being said,
watch out.
They broke a transmission. He was actually looking pretty decent in ICAR. He obviously had a great run at Trois-Rivières. Very different racetrack.
Yeah.
So, he's a favorite for a 6th place finish at Motorsport. That's where at CTMP. That's where DJ shoots for when he goes there. Honestly, just knowing him very well. It is a great racetrack for Kevin Lacroix. It is a great racetrack for Alex Tagliani.
Oh,
it is a great racetrack for Andrew Ranger.
You better hope.
It is a fantastic racetrack for LP Dumoulin and Marc-Antoine Cameron.
Oh, yeah.
So out of that, and then as well, you have to add in Gary Clute. He's got more laps there than probably everybody on the list. And you got to throw in a guy like Daniel Bois. He's impressed so many people.
Yep.
With his Toronto run, with his Motorsport run. It's going to be really interesting heading there this weekend. A lot of buzz, a lot of talk about the speed that the 96, the 74 showed. That they've shown all year.
How about the 07? We haven't even mentioned Alex Labbé. He goes to gets a top 10 at Daytona in the Xfinity Series, gets on a jet, flies into ICAR, and gets out there.
Start at the rear?
Oh, starts at the back of that full field and rolls all the way up to, fourth or fifth, and given enough laps, I wouldn't doubt he would have been up there pounded on the back end of the 74 car. And Alex Gannett, we got to put a little shout out to him as well in the 39 car, another car that was lights out quick and on his way. Just It was a good race. Watch that one on TSN when it comes up next weekend. But don't forget to be at CTMP. It's a great camp weekend. We're going to talk more about it in hour 2. We got Sammy Fellows going to come on, and we'll get you all the details that you need to know about CTMP coming up next weekend. We're going to hit a quick break. When we come back, Rick Spencer Walt, APC winner from last night, going to join us live right here on Race Time. Stay with us. It's time to get back to the racetracks. For over 30 years, Quick Fire Starters have fueled this sport on and off the track, making lighting your campfire as easy as 1, 2, 3. There's no need for kindling or paper. Just pop your Quick Fire Starter in the pit, add your wood, and presto, you're a pro. Quick Fire Starters. No harmful chemicals, and guaranteed to light your fire every time. Quick Fire Starters, the world's best fire starter.
Rev TV, your motorsports and automotive destination. Watch live races from around the world and right here at home, from 2 wheels to 4 and so much more. Rev TV is your source for motorsports. Rev TV features exclusive race series, up-to-date news coverage, documentaries, how-to programs, and adrenaline-filled lifestyle programs 24/7. Go green with Rev TV. Contact your TV provider to order.
Tonight's Race Time Radio is fueled by AP Race Fuels, the worldwide leader in race fuel technology.
If you're a Springsteen fan, you just found the promised land. Hear rare interviews and performances. Live concerts.
Is there anybody alive out there?
Celebrity guest DJs.
This is Rob Lowe. Hey, baby, it's Little Steven here.
And more exclusives when listening to Bruce Springsteen's channel.
Welcome, Bruce Springsteen, to E Street Radio, your home away from home.
Great to be here.
E Street Radio, SiriusXM Channel 20.
No one else. Only you. Mr. Never Say Die. Your 8-year-old car running like new? That's all you. And your friend, Mr. Transmission. Transmissions, that's their specialty. Over 350 different types, making Mr. Transmission Canada's undisputed transmission and technology expert. Book your free multi-check inspection at your local Mr. Transmission to keep it running smoothly. How long will your car last? As long as you want it to. Thanks to your friend.
Hey, mister, you're a friend of mine.
Celebrate the end of summer at the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park Labor Day Sprints Weekend, featuring Canada's best cars and drivers as the NASCAR Pinty Series competes in the WeatherTech 200. Experience an all-Canadian roster of racing action, including the Fell Sports Car Championship, Nissan Sentra Cup, Toyo Tires F1600, and M-Zone Radical Cup. Enjoy concerts, fireworks, food, and family fun. Come for the day or camp for the weekend. Go to CanadianTireMotorsportPark.com for tickets and details.
Gentlemen, start your engine.
Welcome back.
Race Time Radio.
I think I like it too. Hey, I think I like it too. That's Joey Vinegar. Check his tunes out. Google him, Joey Vinegar. Got a load of great stuff on there. Welcome back, everybody, to Race Time Radio. So glad you could tune in tonight. All live on SiriusXM Channel 167. Don't forget about our live stream at RaceTimeRadio.com and brand new RaceTime Radio TV on YouTube. This is the new way we're going to be doing it on here. But we're going to get back to the hotline, and we're going to welcome in a two-time APC Series winner. He did it last night in his number 31 car. He's probably still screaming, but we'll check in with him right now. Rick Spencer Walt, driver of the 31, got the job done. What's going on tonight, Ricky? How are you?
I'm good, guys. Thanks for having me on. Just having a couple beers, trying to relax. Just had some dinner with the wife and kids, so things are good.
Well, I bet things are good. You did a masterful job last night on a real tight little racetrack that you know quite well. But you did a great job in that 31 car. How did it feel inside there? Good?
Yeah, it was. It's been tough inside the car the last couple of weeks. It's just been there's a lot of pressure around my kneecap, so it's when I get in there, it's okay. But after you start moving your leg around, you get going, you don't really think of it much. But then you get a couple cautions in a row, it gives you time to think there. So last night we had a couple of quick ones, but they felt like they were forever when you got a knee that's just throbbing. So luckily I was kind of burning my kneecap on the tin kit a bit, so I was thinking about the burn more than the pain in the knee.
Rick, I never even thought of this. I've had 14 surgeries on my knees, so I know what you're talking about when it comes time for really, and I mean extreme pain inside that race car. I know where you're at, but what I should have done, and I just thought of it right now, actually, and if you go to race the next race and you haven't had your surgery yet, there is a thing called a polar cuff. I don't know whether you're familiar with it or not. It looks like, one of those bands that they wrap around your arm to do your blood pressure and they pump it up. It looks...
Yeah, I have one. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, yeah, a polar cuff. If you put that polar cuff on and, I don't know, strap it now, I know it's going to be a couple of pounds, Ricky, and you don't want to bolt weight up high in the car. But listen, if it actually helps you throughout the course of a race, it would be kind of a good idea to wrap that polar cuff around that leg. But I just thought of it now. It may help relieve a little bit, not only the heat, but it would probably help alleviate some of the swelling as you're, doing something that you probably shouldn't do while you've got a knee injury like that. But just to refresh everybody, what did you do to that knee? And is it a broken kneecap or what is it?
Well, we were... it was a nice Friday afternoon. It was about 40 degrees with the humidity, so we decided to hit the lake on the Sea-Doos. And I always have my boy Jake on the back with me, so we go out and find some big waves and hit them all the time. But these ones maybe we should have avoided. But I launched it off of a big yacht wave, and we landed. I think I hyperextended it the wrong way when we landed, but I didn't really feel much, so I was fine. We landed in the water and kind of got back on the Sea-Doo. And when I jumped on the Sea-Doo and threw my leg up on my right leg back up onto the Sea-Doo, everything just blew out the side. My kneecap was around the side of my leg, and it was pretty eventful. I was laying in the water for about 40 minutes floating with the life jacket, and my wife and I were trying to pop my kneecap back in because I couldn't get back on the Sea-Doo or get back. We were 3/4 away across the lake, so it was either call the marine units to come get me or try and be a man and get back to the dock. So it was I got back to the dock and had to walk, I don't know, it's quite a ways up, probably the full length of the pits at Sauble there to my truck, because nobody can back the little trailer up to get the Sea-Doos. So it wasn't a whole lot of fun.
Rick, I can guarantee you there is absolutely no one on the face of this planet that's ever going to be able to say, that Rick Spencer Walt driver, the 31 in that APC series, he's a real wimp. No one would ever get away with saying that. I
might be a baby sometimes, but I'm not no wimp.
I'll tell you what, you have gone through more than a lot of drivers have. This season, you could have been under that car and had someone else in there the last 2 or 3 races, but no sirree, Bob. You wrapped it up, soaked it up, and away you went. And your labors were well worth it, coming away with the victory last night. The car was good. Pretty well right out of the box. Now, I know Josh Stoddy set fast time. I was tuned in for qualifying, and but you were no slouch, man. You were right there. What did you need to do to the car to get it to where it was last night in Victory Lane?
We unloaded. We were all right. We went out in the first practice, and by the time it shipped through, we were 13th. But we were on our Sunset tires from the week before, and I just felt like I had no grip in the car. It just wouldn't turn. I had no turn in, so we were just tight. So we had Mike there working with us. We had a lot of guys out. Terry's usually my crew chief from down there, and they were all out at the Pinty's race. So Mike crew chiefed our car last night, and I don't know. Him and I mesh really good, and my feedback to him, I think I can give great feedback. I talked to him about what he wanted me to work on first, and we had new brakes on the car last night, and we've been struggling for a couple of races with the brakes. I lost them at Sauble in both those races we ran 2 weeks ago. So just got the brakes where we wanted them, got the setup where I wanted it, and I think we really did have something for the pole. But when you go out on these old tires and you run around in practice and get the feel you want later in a race, and then you bolt 4 new ones on, and it carves to the bottom, and you're up over the curb. It's just like, you're just not expecting it to carve like it does. And I've never been a super qualifier, but I mean, we were, if I had got on the gas a little harder last night, I think we would have been right there too. But it was good to see him, Saudi. It's his home track. He's really good there, so it's good to see him run good there.
I kind of figured it was going to be a 31-84-17 battle all at the front there. The 22 of Steckley had a good run going. I know the 17-22 got together. That sort of faded them. Blair Wickets, if I'm saying his name right, did a great job in that, 97 car. He looked strong last night. But really absolutely no one had anything for you last night in that 31 car. That black and green machine, Joe Jr., was just a missile. You missed that one, buddy.
Well, I didn't miss it. I sat at Boston Pizza and drank a whole pile of beer and watched it. It was a lot of fun.
Imagine that.
That was pretty cool hearing from out there, because I think my brother he said there was about 25 people around him watching, and my grandparents are out on tour. My grandpa's got my grandma going way out to BC, just showing her a bunch of stuff on a big tour in a camper, so they had it on in the camper watching on YouTube too. So it's pretty cool that people like yourself, Joe, that couldn't be there could still tune in because of what G-Force is doing. Some people knocked it at the start for people not wanting to go to the races, but you don't think about the people that can't get there. So it's I think it's been a pretty good deal.
Yeah,
some people even knock me when I promote it, so I'm done listening to everybody. I love what G-Force does. Anyway, continue on there, Jenny.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's Walt. There's been plenty of people, right? There's been plenty of people, and I imagine you've heard it probably 75,000 times since you hurt your knee. Say, why does he do this, right? Like they look at Saturday night race and they look at what it stands for, what it is, and nobody's making $1 million on racing Saturday night. So people look at you and say, well, why would he be out there and do that when he has a hurt knee, right? And I've had that conversation with a couple of people. And I say, look, man, like I remember Rick Walt, in a race car that's probably not fit for the racetrack, racing on a racetrack. Like he's been out there, in subpar equipment for a number of years. You work your way through with Eldon, and you guys have built a program with sponsorship and everything else, and really, you said on this very program that it was a dream opportunity at the beginning of this season to be out there in that car. And I've said it to a number of people that being a racer is a lifestyle, right? And I watched Dale Jr.'s podcast with Mike McSwain, Fatback, if you will, and he talks about a racer being a lifestyle, right? So it's not just it's not just a hobby. It's not just for fun. It's not just a sport that you play and don't think about again. It's really a way of life. But I want I want to hear it from you why you're doing it. When it does cause this much pain to you physically, but I want to know why you still want to strap into the car while you're not necessarily perfect.
Yeah, man, for sure. It's I guess it's a hard thing to explain. I mean, people go to work every day and they're hurting. I mean, you go to work and your back's killing you hauling concrete, or your back's hurting you moving a wheelbarrow, and by the end of the day you're paralyzed, but you get your ass out of bed in the morning and go back to work. So
yep.
I look at it as my sponsors have put up a lot of money, and that's my job, is to go make them proud, represent them the best we can, and just, I mean, it's a cool story, yeah, that I have a busted up knee and I'm running good, but I mean, I wanted to run good before my knee was busted up, like it's not, we had Ray Morneau, and I can't thank him and his family enough for, being around and being there if I needed something. Last night wasn't easy either. I went out and practiced, and I went to, I actually drove into Sauble Beach there to the pharmacy, and I bought a new cast thing to put on my leg to try something else, because I got about 4 or 5 of them and nothing keeps working out. So I wore it in the first practice, and I said to Ray, who was close by, I said to him after, I said, have your suit and shit ready, because I don't know, man. Like, it's even worse this week than it was the 2 weeks ago. And I got the brace off and got it iced up a bit, and then went back out, and everything was a lot better. But I don't know, man. It's just like you said, it's a lifestyle, and that's my life. I've raced since my parents had to sign waivers to allow me to even race, because back when I was younger, you couldn't start racing anything until you were 14 at Barrie Speedway, and I started, I think, when I was 12, turning 13, so I was an exception at that time. But you're not kidding, man. I drove some stuff you needed tetanus shots to get in, so it's been a blessing for the people that I've had in my life come along and help us get to the point where we are, and I don't want to let anyone down, so whatever it takes to be in there. I'm 7 feet tall, and I did roofing for 10 years. I heard every friggin' morning I got up and went to work. So driving for, a feature race is only, if it goes bad, we're still only out there 30, 40 minutes. It's not like you're in the car for an 8-hour shift. So
right.
It's just get in, get it done, and get out.
I always thought you were 7'3".
Yeah, pretty close. Rick, the cool part is you didn't put anyone else in jeopardy when you're out there. The only person you're putting in harm's way is yourself. And I know if you were putting anyone else in jeopardy, you wouldn't have been out there, just so no one gets the wrong idea. The only person you're hurting is yourself. And obviously it didn't hurt that bad because you went to victory lane, and it'll make it feel so much better. We got 2 minutes before I got to throw it back to Toronto. But I do want to ask you, Delaware is coming up. And what is the prognosis? When is the surgery for the knee? Will you be in at Delaware Speedway?
Yeah, I think I have to go. Got a bunch of stuff going on. I broke a damn molar, too, so I got a root canal surgery Monday, so I had some tooth pain I was suffering through. It's been a nightmare 2 weeks for me, so I got that surgery tomorrow morning, and then I got to go see the fracture clinic again, and they're supposed to see what's going on. I've tried to get the swelling down in it, and then they were going to decide, because 2 doctors said my ACL was torn, another one, or whatever, torn in half, and the other one said they think they can repair it with some physio. They're going to try, so I'm just kind of in the air with it, but nothing's been done since it happened other than give me some drugs and go home, and I don't take those things because they just make me sick. So it's been just icing it and trying to relax a bit, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to run Friday night from we obviously got the win, so it gives us a little bit extra money to go to Friday night there at Delaware. We're going to run the 70-lapper, hopefully, and then that'll prep us for the next APC race.
Well, good luck in that. And I know when I say listen, if they said that it's ripped and they can fix it, but if they tell you these words, Rick, and you mark my words, if they say, look, Rick, we're going to go on a wait-and-see program, you're in good shape, you're in good health, you tell them to forget it and get in there and fix it. I'm telling you from a guy that's had 14 surgeries, don't prolong it. I prolonged mine 12 years. And I'm 61 and paying for it every single day now. So just take it from a guy that's been there, done that. Get it fixed. If they can fix it, get it fixed, buddy.
Yeah, well, will do, man. Thank you.
Yeah, and I look forward, I know we all do, look forward to seeing you at Delaware Speedway and watching that 31 car. Congratulations on the victory, brother. Go get it, and we'll keep your seat saved right here on Race Time, okay?
Awesome. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for having me on again.
That is Rick Spencer Walt, driver of the 31. Awesome guy, Junior, and an awesome race car driver.
Awesome racing family.
Oh, yeah.
Right? When you look at the Walt family and you look
Jeffy
at,
would have been keyed right in. He's I see him all the time out in RS1 land.
Yeah, same with Brian, and his whole family is and really his team is a family deal too.
Sure.
I really wanted to kind of nip that in the bud and get the word from the horse's mouth why he's behind the wheel. And I'm a firm believer that he's doing a heck of a job.
He is. Well said. We are going to throw it back to Toronto now, get you up to date on some of the news and highlights that you may have missed over hour number 1. But don't you go anywhere. We're going to be back for hour number 2. John Casale is going to lead the parade off. We got Sam Fellows coming up, and hopefully Darren Crocker out in BC. All that to come in hour number 2, all live tonight on SiriusXM Channel 167 Canada Talks. Stay right there. 90 seconds. We're back.
You're listening to Canada Talks on SiriusXM Channel 167.
RaceTime Radio is brought to you by The Quality Inn, Halifax Airport. The official stay of the Racetime Radio broadcast crew. Also by APX Racewear, the motorsports leader in custom crew apparel and fire suits. Also by the Wooden Door Bistro.
Got Chase Elliott. He gets turned into the outside wall. Holy cow!
The thrill of the race.
He's way sideways.
Definitely sliding into it, out of control.
Unbelievable how quickly things can change in racing. You just never know how it's going to play out.
Insider access to the drivers.
We'll roll with it. We're enjoying it. We'll collect as many trophies as we can.
All right, let's go finish this thing, baby.
It's a new normal. Better figure it out.
SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Thank you. You are the man.
We're back with hour number 2 of Racetime Radio. With the two Joes here on Racetime Radio on SiriusXM 167, where Canada talks.
And just like that, hour number 2 begins all live tonight on SiriusXM. Right across the country. Welcome aboard, everybody. Hour 2 kicks off right now, and we kick it off in style. A good friend of mine joins us on the hotline, and he is celebrating 50 years in business. Flamboro Speedway, a cornerstone in this industry, just located just outside of Hamilton, Ontario, is owned by the Casale family, and John Casale is on the hotline with us right now. What's going on, John? How you doing, brother?
How you doing, Joe?
Doing fantastic, my friend. We got a lot of celebrating to do here. 50 years. Can you believe 50 years has gone on by?
I know. It's crazy, isn't it?
Just
I'll tell
amazing.
you, we're here for a split second, really. We're just passing through. 50 years just went by like it was yesterday.
You know, I was saying to Susie today, when I think back, I was the roots in my stock car racing, how I got into this business was as a fan, like way back when. I used to live in Guelph on Stevenson Street, and just down the road, when I was just a youngster, I'm talking, John, I was lucky if I was 5, 6 years old, hung out with the Morrisons down the street, and Brian Morrison used to race the Diamond class way back when.
Yeah, that's really going back.
And, and I went to the racetrack. Well, Glenn was my friend, and Brian was Glenn's older brother. There was Glenn and Paul, and anyway, knowing those guys, my job on Brian's team was to shine the wheels. I was the guy that made sure the wheels were shiny, and we went to the racetrack. I want to say the very first speedway I ever went to was with the Morrison family, and they took me to Grand River Speedway. Grand River Speedway, just outside Guelph, and that's where Brian raced. And I remember... it's really foggy, but I do remember it. We were all sitting in Brian's garage one night, and I said, Brian, are we going to go to Grand River again? Because I wanted to go back to the Speedway, loved seeing what I seen. And he said, no, Joe, he said, this weekend coming up, we're going to go to a place called Flamboro Speedway, and it's a brand new racetrack. So I want to say, John Casale, I do believe I was at your very first event at Flamboro Speedway. Isn't that scary? That's a long time ago.
Long time ago.
Yeah, just amazing. You, John, have had some of the most iconic races. You've had the who's who in short track racing, not only here in Canada with Junior Hanley and Don Biederman and Zardo, and the list of names goes on, but you've also had a lot of the top American runners that have filtered through Flamboro Speedway throughout those 50 years at times.
Yeah. Back in the 70s and mid-80s, we used to get a lot of Americans.
Yeah, a lot of guys that were maybe coming up for the big Cayuga race on the Sunday. If they were up in the area early, they would zip to Flamboro Speedway, wouldn't they, and get a Saturday night of racing in before Cayuga.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty amazing.
Those were the good old days.
Yeah, I hear you.
That's part of the 50 years, man. The good old days, and if you look at the facility, John, you guys have done so much to that racetrack over the past couple of years. I remember
do, as much as we we can. You know,
Absolutely.
There are limitations of what we can do.
For sure.
But yeah.
When I think back to going to Flamboro Speedway when I was, young, we're talking, 10, 13 years old. Yeah. We used to come down for Oktoberfest every year, right?
Yep.
And Flamboro Speedway was the same from that time until I was about 20 years old, and all the way through.
When the guardrails are up?
No, that's going back to your guys' days.
Yeah.
No, I was always concrete wall, but when
that
I
was interesting the first couple of years, I'll tell you.
When I look from,
we used to race for about half an hour and spend an hour fixing the guardrail.
That's right. They would knock the K-rail out of the thing. But when I look from the age of 20 to now, that place is a completely different facility. You with the VIP tower that you guys have, arguably the best seat in short track racing in Ontario.
Yep.
I think Glenn Stiers has got a good one too at Oshwegan now. But both of them.
Glenn's doing a real fantastic job there. He's adding on a lot of things there. I haven't been there yet, but I'm meaning to go there. But I see, talking to people that he's really done a lot of things there.
Oh, amazing job. And like Joe was saying, John, you have rebuilt Flamboro Speedway literally from the road gate in. You've repaved the track. You've done a whole pile of stuff on the infield. You added the kart club.
The pit area.
Cleaned the pit area.
I'll tell you, the guys really appreciate that. When we did that, oh man, these guys were so glad that we did something in the pits.
Yeah. And it's just amazing to see the transformation and the upgrades that you continue to do at the Speedway. Tonight I want to talk to you about the big event that's coming up next weekend. The Pot of Gold, $50,000 to win. You heard me right. If you're tuned in,
Joe,
50 grand.
That's nothing new, really. When you go, if you go back in the late 80s, early 90s, I mean, we used to do endurance race on Labor Day weekend, and the payoff for those things in those days was $10,000 to win, $12,000 to win, $15,000 to win. I mean, in those days, that was quite a bit of money,
Oh, yeah. It still is.
So, but the main thing we were doing this $50,000 to win, I'll tell you, there's a little story behind it. And we've been there 50 years. And this winter we start thinking about what are we going to do for these guys this year, to appreciate these guys, what they do for us. And so we came up with the idea, let's bring back the endurance race that we used to do on Labor Day weekend. And basically what we've done is we put $1,000 away every year for the 50 years, and that's where the money's coming from.
Isn't that amazing? That's some forethought right there, I'll tell you. That's amazing.
Cool. That's so exciting.
Now it's going to be $50,000 to the winner. It's not like he's
the second place is 10.
Yeah. That's what I was getting at. It's not just the winner that is going to get paid out. You're paying back.
Yeah, we're paying. The total purse is $70,000.
That's amazing, John Casale. Amazing.
And it's something that we're doing it, like I said, because we do appreciate these boys.
Yeah, and you show your appreciation, John Casale. You always have, and you're doing it again. Tell us a bit about the format for this 50K to win. Is this on Sunday? Is it Saturday? Qualifying Saturday? What is it?
No. Saturday night we're running our late models, Canadian Vintage Modifieds, Super Stocks, and Mini Stocks.
Right.
That's the program for Saturday night.
Okay.
Sunday morning, we open at 8 o'clock for registration for the endurance cars, and we open the front gates at 12, and we're scheduled to go at 2. The format for this race is at 300 laps, but there's a catch to it.
Okay.
We're going to run 250 laps qualifier.
Mm-hmm.
and the top 50 will run the last 50 laps.
Ah, there you go.
So
that's a good
It's going to make
wrinkle.
it interesting.
Yeah, it'll make it very interesting. So the
Yeah.
top 50 move on.
Yeah. So
Now, if you're not registered yet, say you are just hearing about this tonight and you want to get involved, you could be on the other side of the border too, everybody. Flamboro Speedway isn't that far from the border. You want to, get up here and run in this 50K to win endurance race, you can do it, even if you're not registered.
And, register there that morning, no problem.
So you can register at the track that day.
Yep, sure.
Perfect. Now, to get more information on it, do we just go to the website? Is everything, all the
We'll have all
rules?
the information on the website for the pricing, the times and all that. And then for the guys that want to register, if they want to do it prior to that, they can go on our social media. Gary Collins looks after it.
Yep.
They can set it up with him. And, yeah.
Okay.
Or they can leave it until, like I said, Sunday morning. Make sure they come early because, that process takes a bit of time. So
Sure does. You got to check the cars, too. So don't be bringing your late model out here, guys. It's got to fit the rules, right, John?
Well, I mean, we want to make sure that everybody's honest,
As honest as they can be. They are racers. Yeah.
Yes.
Incredible.
Hopefully this thing works. I mean, I'm not in it to make money, but it would be nice to break even, But I'm doing it because, like I said, we've been there 50 years, and we got to do something for these boys.
Yep.
Well, you're definitely doing it, John. This is giving back in a huge way, and good on you for doing it. Looking a little further down the schedule, Labor Day weekend doesn't end everything at Flamboro Speedway. You still got lots more big stuff coming, right?
The following week, actually, we got our Memorial Night. The following on the 10th, I believe, and we got lots going on there. At that night, we have fan appreciation night, corn roast, free hot dogs in the pits after the races. So everybody looks forward to that one.
Absolutely. You watch out. You may have me coming back down there. You're talking
Sure.
free hot dogs and corn. I'm in.
Lots of corn, I'll tell you. Kevin Gallant supplies the corn, and I'll tell you, he's got darn good corn. For the last few years, he's supplying that stuff, and he hasn't let me down yet.
Awesome stuff. That's going to be awesome, John. The Pot of Gold. You want to check it out. Get to Flamboro Speedway's website, and there's still lots coming up. Oktoberfest, John, looking real good, and I know you got a bunch to announce.
We'll talk another night about that, okay? Because right now I'm in the processing of making some few changes on it, and it's not finalized, so I really don't want to say much about it right now.
Okay, and we don't mind. We'll get you back on the show. We'll get you back on here. Got no problem with that. Now, just one other quick question. I know social media was all the buzz this morning. I guess there was some happenings there yesterday, last night.
It was an unfortunate incident.
Everything okay?
Yes, there's actually the Mike Pod. I think you probably know him.
Oh yeah.
Number 5 Canadian Range Bonfire driver.
Right.
Unfortunately, he got hurt.
Yeah.
And, so it's one of those things that with these one of those Oscar modifieds, those open wheel cars. I'll tell you, they can get scary.
Yeah.
But
can't they all?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear that everything is okay, and just wanted to put that out there to everybody that everything is working out, and that's good. Everything's working the way it should. Yeah. John, it's going to be a good weekend next weekend. I hope you are ready for it.
The only thing that worries me right now is the weather. We need good weather.
Oh, yeah. So what happens? Let's talk about that, for instance.
If it doesn't happen Sunday, the Monday is the rain date for it.
Okay. So at least we know that, too. Yeah. And if anything, John, it's going to be perfect this coming weekend.
Hope you're right.
Absolutely. We appreciate your time tonight, John. And do me
Thank
a favor,
you.
say hello to Frank and say hello to the family for me down there. And I know we'll see you soon.
Yeah, thank you.
You bet. John Casale, Flamboro Speedway. The Pot of Gold race, $50,000 to win. Junior, there is a huge buzz up on this side of the border about this race.
There's a huge buzz about it. There has been since they announced it. For the longest time they had a race called the Gold Rush.
Yes, the Gold Rush.
It was a staple at Flamboro Speedway.
Yep.
It started out as a pro late model race, but it had a gimmick to it, and it was a $5,000 to win race, and the pole sitter had the chance to basically go for the win and go for $10,000.
Yep, but you had to go to the back.
There was always that catch, right? Yeah, there was always that catch with John Casale.
Yep.
And he really loves, putting the driver in a position where he's got to go or go home.
Yep. And he puts the fan in a really good spot. Yep.
And, when you look at the Gold Rush, I remember some of the most iconic finishes in short track racing history were those Gold Rushes.
Yep.
You think about the time where Sean Chenoweth said, I'll go to the back, and he battled right up to second place and put on a whale of a show.
Yep.
And I think about Brandon Watson in the super late model saying, I'll go to the back, and him coming through the field and not quite getting there.
Just about.
And, Andrew Gazelle being asked, will you go to the back? And he said no. Absolutely outright no.
Nope.
I'll go for the $5,000 and start up front. So it's really comical that he always does that little hook. Now, I say that to say this is not a hook at all.
No.
With the way that this is played out.
This is straight up $50,000 to win.
$50,000. This is that's a lot of bread, man.
That's more than a lot of people make in a year.
Absolutely.
You can make in the span of a couple hours.
And the car that you're using is worth no more than $1,500 to $2,000.
That's right.
And
I got a wheelbarrow worth more
with your safety gear and everything else.
Yep.
Gives an opportunity to a tremendous amount of people. I hope that guys aren't fearful that these big teams are all going to put together a team and go do it, and go beat up on them.
Nope.
I hope that John Casale and those guys get 300-400 cars show up for this deal.
Yeah, me too, because he'll start them all.
Yeah, exactly. But with that final 50, I think there's going to be some very surprising names in that final 50. And the car diversity is going to be absolutely epic.
Yep.
I think that there's going to be some really neat-looking cars. I think that there's a bunch of teams putting a lot of work and effort into making a cool-looking car.
Yeah.
Not just graphics and splashy graphics, but funny signs. And, I think there's a bunch of teams having a lot of fun with this deal.
Yep.
And I've talked to quite a few of the entrants that are going to be putting a car together for it. And, man, the buzz about it is so fun. Hats off to those guys for identifying it, for seeing the opportunity behind it. I think that there's going to be a tremendous amount of people with their eyes peeled on this event.
Yep.
And, I really hope to see, not only a good give back event where John gives back to the community, but also I hope that it's a successful event.
Yeah,
and that's the
hoping.
key. That's the key.
Absolutely. You want to be at Flamboro Speedway next Sunday night. How about go to CTMP through the day, watch the NASCAR Pinty Series, and then zip over to Flamboro Speedway and catch the Pot of Gold? I'm telling you what, it sounds like a plan, and I just may be on that very ticket. We're going to hit this break. When we come back, speaking of CTMP, Sammy Fellow's going to join us on the other side of the break. Stay with us.
She was a girl in a short dress. I was a boy in a charcoal vest. When the winter wind came calling, that engine like a stalling. I was the one who kept waiting.
coast to coast. You're listening to Canada Talks.
Celebrate the end of summer at the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park Labor Day Sprints Weekend, featuring Canada's best cars and drivers as the NASCAR Pinty Series competes in the WeatherTech 200. Experience an all-Canadian roster of racing action, including the Fell Sports Car Championship, Nissan Sentra Cup, Toyo Tires F1600, and M-Zone Radical Cup. Enjoy concerts, fireworks, food, and family fun. Come for the day or camp for the weekend. Go to CanadianTireMotorsportPark.com for tickets and details.
No one else. Only you. Mr. Never Say Die. Your 8-year-old car running like new? That's all you. And your friend, Mr. Transmission. Transmissions, that's their specialty. Over 350 different types, making Mr. Transmission Canada's undisputed transmission and technology expert. Book your free multi-check inspection at your local Mr. Transmission to keep it running smoothly. How long will your car last? As long as you want it to. Thanks to your friend.
Hey, mister, you're a friend of mine.
Even though Napa is a nationally known name, nearly all of our stores are built from the ground up by local owners and families. People you might call neighbors will be here, there, and everywhere. Doing what neighbors do to keep their communities moving forward. You stop by a Napa Auto Parts store, you can count on Napa know-how.
Tonight's Race Time Radio is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts Stores, New Glasgow, Antigonish, and Port Hawkesbury, Nova Scotia. You can count on Napa know-how.
AP Race Fuels, the worldwide leader in race fuel technology. APX Racewear. Look, feel, be epic at epicracewear.ca.
Now, a flashback in Canadian music history. Here's Eric Alper.
Rush holds a special place in our hearts and in the record books. They've sold more than 40 million copies around the world. They have a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame, inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and Officers of the Order of Canada. And they've released 24 gold records and 14 platinum albums, placing them 5th for the most consecutive gold or platinum studio albums by any rock band.
From the high banks of Daytona, we cover it all. Ooh, that's going to leave a mark. And now, back to the Joes.
Hey, shake and bake, Cal! Woo! Shake and bake!
Here on Race Time Radio.
You listen to the sound of those race cars. They flew by at Daytona a little bit earlier today. It took them 2 days to get that race in. And the 3 of Austin Dillon did go to victory lane. They only missed it.
They only wrecked about $36 million worth of machinery down there.
Well, that's what happens when it rains down in turn 1 and 2, and nobody knows about it.
I tell you what, they wrecked before it rained. It was sunny out for,
they
for 2
wrecked
of the
a
other
bunch.
ones. For 2 of the other ones, she was bright and sunny out, and they definitely destroyed a lot of stuff at Daytona, man.
Hey,
Holy.
I haven't seen a wreck like that down in turn 1 and 2 since the beach. Back in 1995, I want to say, we had the Challengers on the racetrack. Back then, they were called Challengers. And full field of cars. Everybody was out there. It was about 10:15 at night. Dark, of course. And they're flying around the racetrack about halfway through their race. And all of a sudden, Mother Nature decided to dump just a monsoon straight down right now from dry to absolutely an inch of rain on the ground. And every car in the field piled it into turn 1 and 2. And I'll tell you what, that was some scary. Never seen that until again today at Daytona. And that was scary looking. Glad to see no one got hurt. But the 3-car went to victory lane. We're going to have a dynamite weekend up here on this side of the border. This coming weekend, CTMP is where you're going to want to be for the full weekend. Camping available. It is the huge Labor Day weekend special at CTMP. And to talk more about that, what do you say we grab our pal? We got Sam Fellows with us. What's going on tonight there, Sam? How are you?
Guys, good. How are you doing?
Life is good on this side of the fence. Now, before we talk CTMP, you got to put your Pinty's hat on for me just a wee bit, because I know you drive the number 98 in the NASCAR Pinty Series. It was a road race, or kind of a road race, ICAR. It's a left and right track. And I kind of had you picked to be one of my guys up in that top 3. And you were looking good for a little while, and then all of a sudden I see you pulled off. I went, did it blow up or what? What happened?
Yeah, I think a couple things with basically the drive shaft broke. So yeah, we kind of need that to get around the track. But no, it was too bad. I mean, we had. I think it was going to be a fun race. So we only got 25 laps in, but got a lot of passing and good experience and stuff in the 25 laps there. So yeah, kind of just trying to put it behind us and go to next week, and happy we have that luxury to just say, yep, we'll get them next week. So we'll see what happens.
I can well imagine. Sam, you have come a long way in the NASCAR Pinty Series this year. Can you feel the progress inside? I know you've had a couple of heartbreaks, but can you feel the progress you're making?
I think it was just like hard work on everyone's part. The team, myself. We had a really, really good test. The week or so before Trois Rivières, where it just kind of got together with the guys for about 2 days at the small track at CTMP, and just figured some stuff out that we kind of were talking about and wanting to go to a test and really sort out. And that was a huge change for us, because we were okay at Toronto, had some issues kind of with pace in the back part of the race, and then we went to Trois Rivières, and it was almost felt like a completely new car, and it showed. I think we were on for a top 5, and sixth is amazing. Felt almost like a win for us. That wasn't an issue we've been having, but yeah, really happy with that. And I think we were probably on for at least an 8th or 7th or 8th yesterday. So yeah, it's too bad. I mean, we've kind of had a decent little run here, and it sucks, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, this is racing. This is what happens. So we'll go to CTMP and try to do better.
Well, when you talk to your dad, and he is one of those professional racers, he's had a bunch of those days in his catalog, I can well imagine. And then, lo and behold, you turn all those into positives. And Sam Fellows, you're the kind of guy that can take the stuff and turn negatives into positives, and CTMP is a good spot to do that for you, a track that you've probably grown up on. What are the thoughts heading into CTMP with that Pinty's hat still on your head?
Yeah, well, it's been a track that we just have kind of had some bad luck at, so I'm hoping I don't know what I need to do. It's like, I don't know, it's just to break the curse almost. It seems like, we were there last year for my first time with Pinty's. We basically didn't go out for practice. Luckily, we had 2 races to kind of figure it out. But, I mean, we didn't do that well. We did okay. And then came back in May of this year and broke a rear axle on the pace lap. So it's been frustrating. It's a track that I love. It's a track that I'm on 4 days a week with our Ron Solo's driving experience, doing instructing. So I know it very well, and I think we can do well there, but we just kind of have the luck on our side. I think that tends to happen sometimes in racing. The place that you want to do the best at, you tend to have issues. So it is what it is. I mean, we're gonna go completely prepared. I'm kind of looking at it, like you said, with a positive mindset and saying, okay, so we broke the drive shaft at ICAR, so we don't have to break it at CTMP. I mean, I guess I'll take it. I would rather not have it at all, but I guess I'll take it there over my home track. So hopefully the gremlins are out of the way for now, and we just go there and have a solid race and have fun and get a good finish.
Wow, you're going to go at it. I can guarantee you that, kiddo. Watching and over the weekend, I'm looking at social media, right? And I'm looking down. All of a sudden, I see a video pop up, and there's you and the other guy sitting in the passenger seat. I kind of thought I knew that guy's face, and sure enough, he is one of the big OPP guys. And you took a copper route for a couple laps at CTMP in the Corvette. What was that like? It looked like you had a lot of fun. He had terror in his eyes, just so you know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that was an awesome initiative basically put on by Chevrolet Canada and OnStar to basically take some of the heroes and first responders and give them kind of an appreciation night. And Sergeant Kerry Schmidt, who's kind of the face of the OPP highway safety, he was there, and I think I was a good substitute because Dad was out at Spring Mountain at that time, so I filled in and gave him the hot lap. Yeah, it's a little funny going up the back straight, at 220K plus with the OPP officer in the right seat, full garb on. So, but it was fun. It's the whole idea, and he's been saying it for years. Take it to the track. Don't need to be driving aggressively on the streets. Take it to the track, and that's where, especially performance cars, like they're made to and built to perform and be fun there. I mean, anyone can go fast in a straight line. It's all about the challenge and fun of cornering and getting around the track quickly. So, yeah, that was great fun. Awesome initiative by Chevrolet Canada and OnStar.
Yeah, too funny. Put the ticket book away, officer. I'm going for assault. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it looked like you were having fun, and it looked like it fit you like a glove. Let's talk CTMP and Labor Day weekend. Always an iconic weekend. The haulers, the trailers, absolutely everybody usually start rolling in. Now, I don't know about Wednesday. Is it looking the same for this Labor Day weekend? Lots of camping still available, or how are things looking?
Yeah, I think there's still a few reserved camping spots. So and I know our regulars, we don't always do reserved camping on this weekend, so we are doing that. So if you're interested, there's still a couple spots left. I think you can find, but yeah, there's. It's a weekend that has changed a little bit in the past couple of years because of COVID. I mean, it was typically the NASCAR truck weekend, but we have a really, really exciting lineup, I think, and what I've been trying to tell people and sell it as is it's a kind of all Canadian roster of talent. You get the Pinty Series, the WeatherTech 200, you get the FEL Sports Car Championship and M Zone Radical Cup. A lot of the top teams in Canada and top sports car drivers. They're going to be there, and then up and coming drivers in the Nissan Sentra Cup and the Toyo Tires F1600 Championship. So it's really top to bottom. I think the best, some of the best that we have to offer in Canada in terms of road racing. And I think it's there's going to be lots of vendors for food, so off track food, camping, fireworks, concert on Saturday night. I mean, the whole 9 yards. So it's the last hurrah almost of summer. It's crazy. It's coming to an end. It feels like it's just been a wink in the eye, but come celebrate with us, and it's going to be a fantastic weekend.
No kidding. You got it covered. I can guarantee you that. I got to ask you the question, Sam, because I know there is a billion people both on both sides of the border. Are we going to see the trucks come back in 2023, or is the rumors that I've been hearing talking about Xfinity taking their place, are any of that true, or can you shed any light on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the quote that was attributed at Trois Rivières to some of the NASCAR folks that were there was, I read it in French, so the translation may not have been perfect with my French skills, but something to the word of basically, I'm not sure if the trucks will return. I think they've left the door open for a possibility for Xfinity and possibly more. So, I mean, at the table, I know the relationship between the track and NASCAR has been really good, and throughout COVID, it's been a difficult relationship, but we've always been open and honest and transparent. They've worked really well with us, and I'm sure they want to come back. It's fantastic. It became Silverado 250 became not just one of the truck series, but also just the top three NASCAR overall. It's a race that people highlighted on the calendars. It was always amazing, close, crazy, dramatic action. So I don't. They wouldn't want to come back. CTMP's unbelievable track, race is amazing, great TV. So I think more will come to light hopefully in the off season. But I think the Xfinity series would be a perfect fit, and it would make sense with the kind of growth that we've seen. So we'll just have to stay put and keep our fingers crossed. It would be fantastic.
I think every race fan in Canada would echo the two. The two main races that Canada has had from the top tier of NASCAR is CTMP with the trucks and what we used to see at Montreal with the Nationwide Series. When you look at both of them, I think every single time the Nationwide Series rolled in, it was a successful, huge event at Montreal, and every time the trucks rolled in through the back gate at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, it was a huge Mondo success as well. It was off the charts racing. It was exciting. It was headline grabbing. Not because of the location that they were at, but because the racing was so good. There was no gimmicks to get that headline. It was man, the racing was so crazy and so good that it deserved the headline. And to see both of those events not happening right now is completely crazy to a lot of race fans because they were so good. And I can't wait to see what happens. Obviously, Canadian Tire Motorsports Park didn't lose the race. COVID just interfered, right?
It cost the race.
It cost the race. It's exactly. And when you look at the future and what can be, I think the sky's the limit. And judging by the excitement of Steve O'Donnell at Trois Rivières, he was absolutely astounded at not only the Canadian fan, but the caliber of the NASCAR Pinty series and just the caliber of the Canadian motorsports in general. And I really look forward to seeing CTMP benefiting from that excitement. I think that the sky's the limit, and hopefully you guys have to build a 100,000 person grandstand and there's a Cup Series race one day. That's the way that I kind of feel about it, and I think NASCAR would be crazy not to focus on that into the future. And Sam, definitely tough luck at ICAR. Looking forward to seeing what you can do at CTMP. And it'll be great to catch up with you over there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been great to see you in the paddock the last little while, and weekend, and we'll see what happens. Regardless, we'll celebrate on Sunday night, whether it's a good finish for me or the successful end to our season. It'll be something to celebrate.
Well, you can get weekend passes to CTMP for the full weekend. You can come out by the day. Come out for the day, stay for the weekend is the tagline that I've heard lots of times, and it actually rings true at CTMP. If you do come to the day, be prepared because you are going to come back. The Canadian Tire Fun Zone, lots to do on the infield. And I might add, race fans, if you've never been to CTMP, you've got so many different vantage points to go watch the race from. When you go under the tunnel and you get into the infield, you will see exactly what I mean. There's a whole network of roads within the infield that make up the infield. You just pull into a spot that is parking available. Pull your lawn chair out, sit back, relax, and watch some blazing fast speeds. Sam, are you going to be, you'll be out there all weekend, I can well imagine, right?
Yeah, I'll be probably out there starting tomorrow night, and I'll be living there basically. So, yeah, we're going like 3-4 days a week with our driving experience. So I'm going home tonight, do some laundry, and then go move back in tomorrow night to CTMP. So I'll be there.
Good for you, man. Good for you.
One thing is for sure. The weather will be better than the spring Pinty's race. I promise you the weather will be better, and guaranteed. I still have a little bit of PTSD from that Pinty's. I was the only one that dove in a race car to
save your life.
I felt like I was saving my life. I didn't need to at all. A fat guy on the right side of a Pinty's car does not work out. Just so everybody knows. It's the wrong decision. I should have ran for the hauler.
Well, when you look at the long range forecast right now, Sam, it's going to be a dynamite weekend all the way through, buddy.
Awesome. Sounds good.
You betcha. You get out there, qualify real well, and I know we will see you over the course of the weekend. But everybody's got to follow us to CTMP. Sam, thanks so much for the time tonight, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks.
You betcha. Sam Fellows, driver of the number 98 in the NASCAR Pinty Series, but he is also a real busy dude at CTMP. Miles Brandt and Of course, Ron and Carlos and everybody at CTMP put so much emphasis and so much good racing on the racetrack for all of us Canadians to go see every weekend. And you got to be out there. I'm telling you what, it's going to be a dynamite weekend. And I can guarantee you the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series is never coming back to Canada. Never. It might be the NASCAR it might be the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, like I've been saying for ever and ever and ever. That was just announced on the weekend. Craftsman back in the Truck Series. So, Joe, it's back to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
So can we go back to calling the Xfinity Series the Busch Series too, or
I don't know. Maybe. You never know what history has in store, bud. You never know.
It's gonna be so weird. It's gonna feel like we're like 15 again.
Well, I'm gonna open up that jar and I'm gonna pull back
Hornaday
all of
can
those.
come back. Hornaday, Skinner,
yeah.
Jack Sprague,
all of those guys are
Ted
all coming
Musgrave.
back. Teddy, yep. We're gonna hit our final break of the night. Let me tell you, good news. Dario Capirchio that won $10,000 at Laird Speedway. Sue got his number. We're going to try and get Dario on the other side of the break. And we're hoping to connect with Daryl Crocker from out on the west coast of Canada. They do have the Canada 200 coming up this weekend. It will be carried all live on Rev TV Canada. But we want to talk with Daryl, and I haven't got his phone number. So we're hoping, Daryl, if you're tuned in, email me your phone number so we can call you. The window's getting smaller here as we get closer to the top of the hour. Dario, coming up next on the other side of the break.
Poor pitiful me, roaming through them trees. Won't you help me out in the North Country, underneath them pines, in the green plush scenery.
From coast to coast, you're listening to Canada Talks.
Racetime Radio is brought to you by the Quality Inn, Halifax Airport, the official stay of the Racetime Radio broadcast crew. Also by the Wooden Door Bistro.
Even though Napa is a nationally known name, nearly all of our stores are built from the ground up by local owners and families. People you might call neighbors will be here, there, and everywhere, doing what neighbors do to keep their communities moving forward. You stop by a Napa Auto Parts store, you can count on Napa know-how.
No one else, only you. Mr. Never Say Die. Your 8-year-old car running like new? That's all you. And your friend, Mr. Transmission. Transmissions, that's their specialty. Over 350 different types, making Mr. Transmission Canada's undisputed transmission and technology expert. Book your free multi-check inspection at your local Mr. Transmission to keep it running smoothly. How long will your car last? As long as you want it to. Thanks to your friend.
Hey, mister, you're a friend of mine.
Celebrate the end of summer at the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park Labor Day Sprints Weekend, featuring Canada's best cars and drivers as the NASCAR Pinty Series competes in the WeatherTech 200. Experience an all-Canadian roster of racing action, including the Fell Sports Car Championship, Nissan Sentra Cup, Toyo Tires F1600, and M-Zone Radical Cup. Enjoy concerts, fireworks, food, and family fun. Come for the day or camp for the weekend. Go to CanadianTireMotorsportPark.com for tickets and details.
Tonight's Racetime Radio is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts Stores, Port Hawkesbury, New Glasgow, and Antigonish, Nova Scotia.
Drivers, start your engines!
Welcome back to the track. Live on Racetime Radio, SiriusXM 167.
By the way,
and welcome back, everybody, to Racetime Radio. By the way,
we were just talking off air here about Ron Fellows and Sam Fellows, of course. But talking about Ron Fellows, what do you think the coolest thing that Ron Fellows has ever driven is?
I don't know. He's driven everything.
I know he's driven a lot of cool stuff, right?
Yeah. What is the coolest?
It's a Ferrari 333.
Woo.
Yep.
At CTMP?
He said anywhere.
Anywhere.
He said, but he did win with it. He's like that.
Oh,
that
really?
definitely attributes to it. I said I figured you would drive like an F1 car or something like or like maybe at like a charity event or something like that.
Yeah.
Or like one of those old school. He goes, no, I wouldn't fit in a Formula One car from yesteryear. He goes, I couldn't get comfortable.
Yeah.
He goes, I had a couple opportunities, but he goes, the cool part about the F33, or not the F33, the 333, was that it had the true Formula One engine in it, and that's why he liked it so much. But just a random piece of information, but. I figured that would be something pretty cool. Ferrari 333.
I could talk about Ron Fellows all night,
I know,
and
the dude
with
is
him,
so cool.
he is so cool.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of shows together, Ron and I.
Yes, you have.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Hey, let's get back to the hotline, shall we? And welcome in a guy that went and got a huge payday. He drives the 03 super late model. He did it at Laird Speedway up in Sault Ste. Marie. Long tow for the driver, but he went up there and made it worthwhile, going to Victory Lane and taking the big 10K check home. Dario Capirchio joins us on the hotline. Dario, how are you, brother?
Hey, how's it going, Joe?
Any better, and I would be you. Hey, good for you, man. Take us back through that race. Good for you. You hit payday.
Yeah, no, it was a pretty awesome weekend. We had a lot of trouble Friday night. We went up there Friday night to support them on their Friday night show, and our header, we had a broken header on the driver's side. Those guys at Laird, man, they came together, got me parts, and I put the car back together for Saturday night, and just awesome.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you. Now, was it a good car turnout up at Laird Speedway? I've never seen the racetrack. I have heard of it. We have had different guests on over the years from Laird, but I've never physically seen the Speedway. What was it like, and how many cars showed up?
I think we had 17 with the Supers. 5 of us came up from Southern Ontario. Mike Miller, the 73, 51 of Ethan, the 52 of Adrian Foster, and the 17 of Brandon, and then myself. We're up there supporting them.
Yeah, good deal, good deal. And then they've got a core of Supers up there as well, and some good stout cars up there that you went up against.
Oh, yeah. We got Jackson up there, Dustin there. He's been up there, and he's pretty much a favorite up there, fan favorite. The fans are just pretty awesome up there. We need to bring that back to Southern Ontario. Those fans just go crazy. And pretty much they were in support of all the drivers, not just their home track guys.
Yeah, you got to love it. I know George Wilson sent me a message a couple of mornings ago and actually put me in tune about the race because I totally missed it. This one flew right under the radar, and we hadn't received anything on it, so we were kind of flying in the dark. George sent me a message, and he said, hey, do you even know about this big race? I said, actually, no, I don't, but he filled me in on the details, and I thought, man, what a cool race. And by the sounds of it, it sounds like it went off really, really well. Take us back through the race. Did you lead the whole thing? Whereabouts did you grab the lead? And take us back across the start-finish line. It must have been exciting.
Yeah, I had a pretty decent qualifying lap, but I was out-qualified by the home track guys, and Infert put me on the pole, so I led right from green to checkers, but it was pretty crazy. It's pretty stressful. No radios, no mirrors, which I never use mirrors anyways. I rely on my spotter. But I said right from the interview on track that I'm winning this thing. I'm leading it right from green to checkers, and I did.
That's
but
cool.
It was pretty stressful. I had Chase Wilson on my bumper for a long time, and he rode me pretty clean. He moved me one time, and they have a rule there. If you're not to the door pretty much, and you spin the leader out or anybody out, you're going to the back, and the person gets his spot back. So he spun me with a bunch of laps left, and he went to the back, and I got my spot back, and, pretty much led green to checkers. I found a really good racing line that I can manage and keep the tires under me, and the car was fast. I couldn't complain about the car at all. It was just hooked up. I made a gear change before the race, and that seemed to help. It was just hooked up.
You're seeing more tracks go to that now. This is not my question for you. You're seeing more tracks go to that spinny, or spinner rule, where if you do make contact and you're not to the door, because really, if both of you go to the back, you're both penalized. It kind of incentivizes not to race hard. But if you are to the door and you spin the guy out and you both go to the back, well, you guys, it was a racing deal. And if you hit the left rear quarter panel, that's on you. You go to the back and the other guy gets his spot back. I actually kind of like that because it incentivizes good racing. Yeah. But when you look at it, it's cool to hear that Laird has that rule and how it played out. But Dario, when I think about Laird Speedway, I of course have never stepped foot on the property. I've only watched a couple of videos of a couple of the races that have taken place and never really zeroed in on it. I've seen the facility from video, and that's about it. But when I think about Laird Speedway, I think about huge horsepower. Because every time that any one of those Laird guys come down here, whether it be to Peterborough Autumn Colors, whether it be to Kawartha, I think back a couple of years, there was a few super late models make the trip down, and they just had jam coming out their eyes. They had tons of horsepower. Couldn't turn, but they had more power than you could dream of. And, that's the thing that stands out to me. Now, you, of course, with your program, you guys have really stepped up your motor program as well over the years. Is it that way still down there? Is it still a huge horsepower game at Laird, or what kind of equipment were you up against? Were they turning cars or were they burning cars?
I think most of the guys there, yeah, they do have some big horsepower. I was talking to a whole bunch of them came over to my pit area to congratulate me, and a lot of guys were talking. They got a ton of horsepower, but they're starting to back it down for their track. I don't know if it's lost grip. But I don't think I had the most horsepower there, but I just outdrove them off the corners. I took it slow and easy going in. I knew nobody can get under me going in. They'd have to take a run at me coming off, and I was coming off probably better than anybody out there. So that's where I beat them, I think. And I don't think their horsepower would have helped them.
Well, good thing that it all came together. I bet you the family would have really greeted you in Victory Lane. It would have been quite a celebration.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. My brother drove all the way down there. He lives in the same area as I do here in Guildford. We had a ton of crew there. We had a bunch. All the Ontario guys were out there on the track, or the Southern guys. And it was just awesome. And even all the fans from Laird. Much respect to those guys. They all came by the hauler and congratulate me. A lot of drivers did. Even Chase, after getting into me, came over and said, awesome race, man. I had nothing for you. So it was just an awesome deal. I'm glad I went down there. I'm glad Bill decided to go. And, I got to thank Bill Vassar, right? He puts all this stuff together. Without him, I think Super Late Model racing in Southern Ontario here would be dead.
Absolutely, I agree with you, and he does a dynamite job. When's your next race, Dario?
We're heading to Sunset for Velocity, and that's our season ender for the Ontario Super Late Models.
Well, good for you, and good luck in that race. You go get him, and I bet you next time there's a race at Laird, you're going to have your hand in the air saying, I'm coming.
Oh, yeah, he's going to promote this for the next time, and he wants to blow this up, and he was talking $20,000 to the winner next time, and we took home $10,000 for the win. Brandon took home $6,000 for second, and the 52 car of Adrian finished fifth. I'm not sure what he took home, but it was a good haul for us to go up there and take their money back here.
Well, it sounds like one that should be live on Racetime Radio, if you ask me. That could turn a few heads and get a few people cued into it. But, Dario, congratulations on the big win, and thanks so much for the time tonight on Racetime. We genuinely appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. Thanks for having me on. Thanks to all your fans. It's awesome, man, to get this big win and finally get recognized that, I can still wheel a race car.
Good job, Dario.
Yes, sir, Dario. You sure can. That's Dario Capirchio. A big win in the 03 Super Late Model up at Laird Speedway on the weekend. You can catch him at Sunset Speedway. Velocity weekend. It's going to be huge. Super Late Models all back on the racetrack for that one. Not sure whether we're going to get Daryl or not. We've only got like 5 minutes left in the show. And then we're going to have to hand the keys back to SiriusXM. But I do want to let you know now that this weekend on Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, you will be able to tune in to the Canada 200 live from Western Motorsport Park out in BC. It's right out on the island. It's an iconic race. They've had the Canada 200 now, I want to say 2 or 3 years now on Rev TV Canada. It is an iconic race now. It will be the final race of that speedway, and then they're looking for a new home for that racetrack. So it's a monumental task. They are looking for it. The track will close after the Canada 200. And you got to know that that Canada 200 out in Victoria, the list of winners is immense. There is a long, long list of accomplished race car drivers from Canada's West Coast, some guys from south of the border that come up for it. It is an iconic race, and it's one that Canada can be very proud of, and we wish everybody out there in Western Canada all the best to find a new home. And to all the competitors and to absolutely everyone out there, we wish everybody luck, and you can guarantee that we will be tuned in all live on Rev TV Canada for the Canada 200 this coming Sunday. I do also want to remind you that if you are a Rogers subscriber to your television, Rev TV is on Freeview right now, but it will end at the end of this month, which you won't get the Canada 200 unless you pony up and buy a subscription to the Canada to Rev TV Canada. So you may want to do that so that you're not missing some of those iconic races. Also, the RS1 Cup Series from last weekend's all coming up on the show. And there's a lot of great programming on Rev TV Canada. Don't forget to check it out and subscribe to it. Junior, where are you off to this weekend? You're CTMP for sure, right?
CTMP, yep. By the sounds of it, Friday night, going to be at Delaware Speedway for their big show. Big money on the line.
Yeah, 70th anniversary.
Yeah, 70th anniversary.
It's huge.
Anniversary, yeah. By the sounds of it, they're going to have a great car count and late models and super stocks as well. So I've got, by the sounds of it, I've got a gig for late model. And then super stock, got a couple of different guys that might have cars entered into that. So if that goes off, then it'll be a late night trip over to CTMP to get ready for Saturday's practice and qualifying session. But it's going to be CTMP for the weekend for me.
Yeah, it's going to be dynamite. Don't forget about Flamboro Speedway, Pot of Gold on Sunday. They got a great show Saturday night as well. Full Throttle Motor Speedway just down the road from the Racetime Radio studio. Paul Trepanier got 2 big nights coming up at you. If you got to stay locally, that's where the show will be, Saturday and Sunday. Going to be dynamite there. Flamboro Speed, everywhere. Check your local listings. It is that time of the year. The schedules are all getting thinner now. So if you haven't made it to a speedway, you're going to want to get out there before it is too late. Autumn Colors Classic Weekend is coming up, Peterborough Speedway. No, I was texting with JP. If you haven't got your campsite yet, you better book it in. It is coming up. That's going to be a Dandy Junior Oktoberfest or Frosttoberfest at Flamboro Speedway is going to be big. We'll get John back on by the sounds of it. Lots to announce around that particular weekend. We got lots coming at us, Junior. We got what do we got? 1 minute.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be incredible to watch, and the points battle is shaping up to be epic in the NASCAR Pinty Series.
Yeah.
That is something to look forward to heading into CTMP and then as well into Delaware. 2 very diverse tracks. It's going to be very interesting. Both guys at the top. One's good at the road course. One's good at the oval. Both have been good at both this year. So it's going to be she's going to be pretty epic. And as well, got to, give it out there to J.R. Fitzpatrick for maintaining that big points lead in the APC Series.
Well, he said in his interview, right?
Wild.
Big picture racing.
Picture.
He ended up finishing 3rd.
Yep.
But he did let whoever was second, he let them go, thinking that, he's not going to have enough to get up there and get Ricky Walt. So big picture racing, good on JR. He wants to win that championship, and that's how sometimes you got to do stuff like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. man, just a great weekend of racing. Sorry for being tired here.
It
was a long trip back.
Drove back from Quebec. Got to thank Sue here in the Racetime Radio studio for hooking us all up. Got to thank Scotty, I believe, back in the Toronto studio for having us all there. Hope you enjoyed it tonight on our brand new YouTube channel. We'll have more to develop there, but that's going to do it for us. We will not be on the air next Saturday or next Sunday night. At least, doesn't look like it. We might be on YouTube.
I won't be.
You won't be, that's for sure. But that is going to do it for us tonight on Race Time. Enjoy the CFL next Sunday right here on SiriusXM. We will be back with you in 2 weeks on SiriusXM. That does it for us tonight. Have a good one, everybody. We will see you next week.
Thanks for listening to Racetime Radio. Visit us on the web at www.racetimeradio.com. We hope you'll join us again next time for more Racetime Radio.
Come on now, dig.
Exclusively on your home for the hardcore race fan.
Excellent, buddy, excellent.